Okay, let's go ahead and get started there, everybody. Welcome back to another 1 p.m. PST YouTube stream. I am your host, Strange Bear Jim, and today we are going to be getting back into some more Pega certification studying. We got some Unreal after that, continuing on with the audio research. We're going to be um, making sure that some more videos gets scheduled and set up for public viewing. And then later on tonight, we got some Goat Simulator 3. So, um, so that's what's in line for today's stream. Now, for those of you that are just here for the Pega studying, let me try to explain what these videos are all about and who I am. First, um, concerning who I am currently a unemployed software developer whose last job was concerning the Pega environment. Me and several others were trained by well, I say trained by an authorized training partner from the last company, and well, needless to say, a good majority of us decided to go self-study for reasons that I won't really necessarily get into, but I mean, even the person's coworkers knew that we were having problems. But instead of putting us back into another training course with a different training partner, they pushed us out and forced us to take our certifications. I knew that I wasn't ready, and I failed the one and only time that I took it. Um, I was hoping for a little bit more, you know, mentorship and whatnot to maybe try to take it again, but never received it. But at the same time, it falls on me to try to put in some work to try to get the certification. So that's what these videos are all about. Me trying to continue on that goal of trying to get that certification so that I can have it, I can put it on my resume, and you know, um, I can continue to get, um, I can apply for a job for Pega and hopefully get it. So, um, uh, not no, I'll admit that it hasn't been easy, but you know, um, I'm thankful for those of you that are continuing to support me, continuing to watch these videos, continuing to stop by chat and saying hi, because it really does help out. It keeps me moving forward. It keeps me pushing forward. Um, I do these because I need to, it provides a certain amount of focus and for me to kind of keep on track. But it also helps when you, the viewers, are there with me along this journey, and um, your comments and your likes, your subscribes are, you know, obviously helps, drive the content forward. Um, so I want to thank you for being there. I appreciate it. Now, what you should also know about me is, well, seeing that I'm working on my certification, I don't know everything that there is to know about Pega. So if you're coming into these videos thinking that I'm some authorized training partner or an instructor, and this is meant, and you're thinking that this is an instructor-led training, then no, please remove that from your mind. I'm not an authorized training partner. This is not meant for an instructor-led training. If you're working towards your certification, then congratulations, you're joining me on this journey as well. And, I hope you continue to stick with me on this journey. I'd love to continue working with you towards that. If you have any kind of questions, feel free to ask them either right now while I stream or on the in the comment section. Feel free to ask questions if you need to. If you're not really understanding any of the material or you're having some difficulties with it or something like that, then feel free to speak up and ask. Because if you don't know, then the questions of why are essential. So better to know the definitive answer than to guess. So, um, so that's what these videos are all about. I'm putting them out to, in a sense, for one, if I have any questions, I'm hoping that people from the Pega community, Pega leads, Pega managers, looks at them and goes, okay, this is how you need to go about thinking about it. They can answer my questions, or um, you know, or if you yourself are putting some questions down that I might not be able to answer, then maybe they'll be there to provide those answers, for you. So, I'm hoping for a little bit more of a collaboration, in the Pega community. So with these videos, that's the mindset. I hope you join me on that. So, um, now concerning the missions that we're on, if you're here for the business architect, that's already been done. I've already covered the 2 missions and 2 modules for 8.7. If you're coming in for like 8.8 or the 23, then I'm sorry, this is an older mission. They might not have changed much, so you might be able to get some um, you might get the same kind of material, depending on um, I offer suggestions to them for them to kind of fix for later versions. So, and from what I understand, they have, the majority of my suggestions have been kind of met with praise. So who knows? Um, but, um, you know, the business architect is done. Now, these 2 modules there are covering the Pega Express delivery. And I would recommend that you go through this mission here if you're studying for the business architect, because I don't feel like these 2 modules will cover the 12% necessary to pass the certification for the business architect. Okay, so you'll want to. I recommend that you cover this mission for that. Am I going to? Probably not. Business architect is not a main goal of mine. So my main goal is to get the system architect. So let's get into that. Go through all the ones that I've already completed. Um, okay, so we finished off the Pega UX solutions. Um, Now let's see. Yeah, I've already done this one. So, right, I have not covered this particular topic yet. So, we're going to be going through the responsive user interface and tabular data. So, responsive design with tables. In Pega Platform, tables automatically display data from data relationships. To limit the information that is displayed when the display size changes, you can configure tables to adjust to that size. Responsive table design minimizes horizontal scrolling by removing the less important information from the user interface. When you design responsive behavior, ensure that the displayed information aligns with the business needs. The order of showing information to user affects the user experience. For example, In the following table, the part number column and name column should always be displayed, and the line total column should always be presented at the end of the displayed information. They should probably have like a little bit of a graphic of like a before and after kind of thing. But we'll move on. A table has one or more columns, each with a configuring importance setting. Column importance defines how Pega platform shows columns as display size changes. The column importance options are primary, secondary, and other. By default, the leftmost column is set to primary. In the following image, click the plus icons to learn more about column importance. Primary importance. The primary column contains the critical piece of identifying information. The information in the primary column should be unique for each row in the table, such as part number. Each table can have only one column with primary importance, and it must be the leftmost column. I mean, I don't, I mean, on one hand, I understand what they're trying to go for in the sense that, hey, we only want you to, you know, have um, the defining feature or defining information that sets the product apart from everything else in the list. Um, but to say that there's only one bit of information in that entire list that is the only thing that you should, like if they minimize the screen down to that, you know, is the part number really the best value to show? Um, my drink is bad. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, they gave me the wrong drink. Pardon me. I need to address this now before they go, hey, um, you're complaining about an order that we delivered to you a long time ago. What's your problem? God damn it. Didn't mean to have that happen. Apologies on that. Oh, Let's see. No, no. I'm sorry. God damn it. Okay, pardon me there, folks. I'm gonna have to. I'll be right back. Um, Let me address this real quick. Alright. Sorry about that there, folks. Um, that was just. Uh, Normally, it's like, hey, I like to order myself something extra so that I have, something a little different for these streams, but can't even drink that now. It tastes awful. Yeah. Oh well. Okay. Apologies. Back on track here. Um, but um, there's certain information for a table that I feel like, you shouldn't just leave it just for like one piece of information. Because I mean, sure, you could show the part number, to someone, but for someone like me, if I see like A dash 102, I'm not gonna know what the hell that's all about. Okay, as a customer. Sure, that might be helpful for the company because they're the ones that actually put that part number out there so that, if you order that particular part number, then great, you'll be able to, um, you'll be able to basically say, okay, yeah, this is, um, we need to satisfy this customer with this particular part number. Great. But for a customer, I'm not going to know. If you're saying like, hey, you're trying to order a 102 and 103, what's the difference between those two? you know, one could be, you know, uh, like a bottle of Pepsi on one hand and an Allen wrench on another or something like that. It's like, you could have two different, completely different products, you know, based off of that. So it's like, you know, I as a customer wouldn't really know. So yeah, while a part number might be great, it might only be great for the business. Um, so yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, sure, okay, right, primary importance, part number, you need to make sure that part number is right so that they can get the product that they want. But here's the thing. If if the part number is the only thing that you're showing, you're just going to confuse your customer. So you need to have another way of um, having, you know, like a descriptive value in there or something like that. Like maybe put and let me like maybe combine part number with like part name or something like that. Combine them together. If you're trying to do that, then you might need to show more than just the part number. It's just saying. So, and it must be the leftmost column. I mean, um, you might not necessarily want, it's like, okay. I mean, this fits into the database mindset, um, but at the same time, um, you don't necessarily need to have the key value on the leftmost column in a SQL database. You don't need to do that. Um, you know, because there are some things that, that might actually have, you know, a slightly higher need from the customer as to what you're going to be showing them. You know, part number doesn't cover it more often than not. Okay, I'm not going to remember every single part number there is in a catalog. But if you tell me like, hey, what grocery products do you want to order? Well, I'm going to give you the product name over the part or the warehouse number for it. I'm not going to know, you know. It's like the um like you are trying to order a book from or you like maybe you go to like a Barnes and Noble or something like that, way back in the day, right? um, you know, you can probably give the name of the book, Lord of the Rings, right? But you're not going to remember the code that's on and like right above that, you know, um, the barcode, you know. You're not going to remember that number or anything along those lines, you know. There's like a specific number for books, by the way. I don't really remember the name of it per se, but I mean, a lot of books go by that number as well. And it's like, well, I don't, I'm not going to be able to tell you like, oh yeah, if I want this particular book, I need to, I want you to give me this book number. No, no. So there has to be something a little bit better there. And the fact that they're saying that it has to be leftmost, mm, well, whatever. We move on. Secondary. Um, Secondary importance. Information in the columns with secondary importance are required to perform a task, such as listing a unit price, displaying a quantity field, and calculating a total value. Key difference between the primary and secondary importance designation is that information in columns with secondary importance might not be unique to a specific row. For example, each product has a unique product code, and several products can have the same unit price. True, but are you going to have the same product with the same name? Names should be different, you know? Um, so, you know, if you have, well, no, I mean, the name should be different, you know? Um, because if you have like the same name over and over and over again, then, it's like, you know, now if you were to say something along the lines of like, hey, you ordered this particular um, product and it has like as like, hey, I'm gonna order Pepsi, right? But you have like two options where it's like, hey, you can buy the 6 pack or you can buy the 12 pack or something like that, right? Well, if you just have the name as Pepsi there, then obviously you're gonna have a problem, right? You know, um, that's why you probably should have like more of a descriptive name, like, hey, this is Pepsi 6 pack, or this is Pepsi 12 pack, or something like that, right? Pepsi 2 liter, whatever, that kind of thing. So, you know, um, so that's why it's like, you don't necessarily need to have it, as a product code. You could have a unique product name. So, now you could put the product code in the name too. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. You could say something like, "Hey, Pepsi, 2 liter, it's A102." Done, you know. Um, so yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, um, um, you'll have to really kind of consider what you want to be primary, I guess, on this one. So, you know, other importance. Column information with the importance setting of other has minimal impact on the task. For example, a product description is unnecessary if users already have the part number. Well, typically a user would want the product description over the part number in some cases. Like I said, you won't necessarily remember the part number. But we move on. You can configure column importance as only other only in Dev Studio. Okay, interesting. Good to know about that. You can configure column importance in Dev Studio. Additionally, in App Studio, you can set or change the column to primary importance while editing the form configuration at runtime. You can set column importance to primary by moving that column to the leftmost place in the table. When you change the order of the columns in the table, Pega Platform automatically sets the leftmost column to primary importance and the remaining columns to secondary importance. So, see, um, so here's what they're probably doing. Okay, they're setting the part number as primary. They're probably setting the unit cost, name, quantity, and line total as probably the secondaries, and then of course you have the description as other, right? Um, but here's the thing, again, if it crunches everything down to just the part number showing, I'm not gonna know what the heck 333-88 represents. I'm not gonna know. So I'd rather see ink pen than I would that 333-88. I mean, unless I'm ordering these on a regular basis so that I remember the part number, sure, but you know, more often than not, you're not going to remember it. You're not necessarily going to be remembering that part number. I mean, unless the receiver, the person that wants you to, you know, that like the warehouse is saying, hey, we need you to send me that part number, and only part number, to fill out our order or something like that, or to complete your order, we're going to need that part number. Then and only then would you ever really use the part number to satisfy anything, right? I'm not going to remember it, you know. Um, you know. Um, that's the only time that I would ever imagine you would need it. Like, the company that fills that you know that sends you these ballpoint black pens, right? The company that satisfies this, if they're the ones that are saying like, hey, we only want the part number from you, and then we'll send you, the product, then and only then might you be like, okay, what's the part number for the ink pen 2-pack ballpoint black? Oh, it's 333-88. Okay, I'll put that in. Then, and only then, might you really know or memorize that part number, especially if you're having to order it multiple times over the year, right? Then you might remember it. But for the most part, you know, I myself would be looking at, the name than anything else, right? You know, or, maybe the 2-pack ballpoint black more than the other two, because the ink pen doesn't necessarily give me um doesn't give me the fact that hey, it's a 2-pack, hey, they're ballpoint, or hey, they're black. you know it could have been a 4-pack, it could have been blue, it might not have been ballpoint, kind of thing. It's like, you know I don't know, I'm just saying, as a dev, as a business analyst, you probably gonna need to look at this a little bit more and go, okay, maybe we're gonna need to like combine columns into like one value. Okay. Like, hey, you know, we're gonna show one column out of all these, and it'll be the part number, name, and description all combined into one. Which you can do that if you want to. So, um, you know, it's not that hard to do that, but in Dev Studio, you can assign columns with primary, secondary, or other importance and edit the column width. As a best practice, do not use fixed widths. For table star layouts, such as grids or tree grids, always set the width to 100%. The setting configures the display to adapt to the device that the viewer uses. Responsive table default breakpoint settings. By default, tables have two responsive breakpoints. At the first, wider breakpoint, columns with importance set to other are not displayed. At the second, narrower breakpoint, the table is displayed as a list. For each row in the table, the contents of each column stack vertically, which eliminates the need for horizontal scrolling. In the following table, click the plus icons on each importance settings to learn more about how columns with different importance settings are displayed on each device type. Column with the primary designation is displayed on all device types. Columns with the secondary designation are displayed on all device types. Are you sure about that? The columns with the other designation are displayed on desktop displays only. In Dev Studio, contents and columns with the importance setting of other can be displayed differently. For example, you can configure a table to display a pop-up window with additional information when users click or tap a row. Yeah, I don't know. So drag one responsive table configuration element on the right to the drop area next to the appropriate description on the left. So in App Studio, you move the credit card number column to the leftmost place. So um, you want that to be the primary importance. The table is displayed as a list. For each row in the table, the contents of each column are stacked vertically. So I believe that's more responsive breakpoints. In Dev Studio, the description column is set to other and is not displayed when when the user views the table on a tablet. So column importance. There we go. So yeah, it's um obviously when it comes to what you are displaying in a table, you're gonna have to really kind of consider it. You're gonna have to figure out what you want it to show. Um, maybe there's something that like maybe there is a um, um, like maybe you want to have like one particular column being very um, um, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, yes, part number might be necessary for the company in question, but as a customer, Yeah, you have to kind of put yourself in the customer's shoes. You know, if you're just showing like here, let's go down to this part, this section right here, right? Part number, unit cost, name, description, quantity, and line order, line total, right? By their own description here, name and description would be removed from view. You know, if the um, if they needed to reduce down the size of the columns, right? Well, guess what? Now all a customer would be seeing would be the part number, the unit cost, quantity, and line total. How the heck is someone supposed to know what the heck they're ordering by that? They would have to try to look up the part number, through some other means, you know. Um, you know, like if you were to put your hand over, the two columns in the middle there, part number 33-88, unit cost 199, quantity 100, line total 199. How are you supposed to know what that product is? So, just know if you're a dev, if you're working on these kind of columns and what they can, what you can view, you better make sure that what you're displaying is going to be easy for the customer. Okay. Um, Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, you need the right information to be sent to the shipping company. You need that information to be correct. But if you're trying to show it to a customer, you know that that requires a different set of columns to be viewed. You know what I'm saying? Um, like the customer wouldn't care about a part number and wouldn't care about line total. And to be honest, I have no idea what line total is all about. Um, oh, maybe it's the quantity times the unit price, so grand total of 199. Um, you know, if that's the case, then I'd probably say if I was to remove two columns from a customer's point of view, then I'd be interested in like the ink pen, the two pack ballpoint black, the quantity, and the line total. That's it. That's all you really need to kind of show, right? You know, how much how much total are you going to be needing? Or what's the total price of everything? How many they want to how many they want to order? What's the description of said product and the name of said product, right? You know, now um, you might be able to kind of get away with like if if all you have is like one generic name for the ballpoint pens or something like that, then maybe you don't even need the name column in there. You might just, you can probably just get away with description, quantity, and line total for a customer. Okay. Whereas, for the company that's going to be receiving that order to, fill out and send, obviously they're going to want the other details, the part number, unit cost, and stuff like that. That's, perfectly reasonable. But for a customer, like, some customer ordering something on, say, Amazon or Walmart or, you know, Google Shopping or whatever, right? You know, they're not going to care about the part number. You know, they have no clue about the part number. So if you show that name and description as completely gone, they're not going to know what the fuck they were trying to order here. You know, Like if they screw up the part number in the values, then well, they're gonna be getting a surprise in the mail, especially if that's not exactly what they wanted to order, you know. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, um, there's one thing, that there's information that the shipper wants, you know, to fill out the order properly, and there's information that the customer wants. You know, for you making the application, you're going to need to know who the application is for. Okay? If it's for me, the worker at say Amazon trying to fill out the order, then yeah, I'm probably not going to care about the name and stuff like that. I pro- I probably have all the parts like, numerically in order and stuff like that. So I can just kind of go down and go, oh, okay. Number 88, okay, got it. How many you need? 100? Okay, done. Move on. They're probably not really going to be caring about the name or description. So it all depends on who the application is for. So, um, so, you know, the part number being the primary might not necessarily be the primary for the customer. Just saying. So, um, so you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and offer a suggestion on this. So, um, concerning this topic, you might want to address the fact that what might be important for a shipping company, such as a part number, to um, confirm what to be shipped out, might not be that important for a customer to view. A customer, say like for Amazon shopping, wouldn't know one part number from the other. So what's important for them might be the name and description. So as a dev, we would need to confirm who the application is for, so that the primary can be adjusted for whoever the customer is, whether it is an actual customer or a shipping company. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and end this topic here. Um, we're gonna be covering this the mobile design best practices tomorrow, as well as go over the module quiz. So we got that coming up for tomorrow. So that's going to be it for today's Pega certification. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you got, some. Um, hopefully it was helpful to you as to what um, um, as to the information that they provided and maybe some understanding of maybe what to kind of look for yourself. Hopefully, I provided some additional information that might be helpful for you. But that's where we're gonna go ahead and end today's Pega stream. So, or Pega portion of the stream. So, thank you very much for watching that portion. Hopefully, I'll catch you next time. But until then, take care. Have a good night. Stay healthy. Stay safe. And I'll catch you strangers next time.